may contain pre-recorded material.
The voice of Husker Nation is on the air. This is Hail Varsity Radio. Insight, opinion, expertise, along with the biggest names talking Nebraska sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbal.
Welcome to it Fridays here at Hail Varsity. Chris Schmidt, Justice Rhodey, and you can always stream, like and subscribe, Hail Varsity, YouTube, Hail Varsity Radio, Twitter, at H Varsity Radio. Give Justice a follow, but don't be mean at Justice Rhodey on Twitter, at Schmidt_radio. We'll load it up. We'll dive in with some football thoughts. Brian Christopherson with us from Husker 24/7 Sports in about 15 minutes. Bill Dolman, the pride of Fairbury, the professor at 5. Jacob Padilla, going to talk some hoops in the 5 o'clock hour. He is back. He's imaginary. He wears red. We will see if he is actually in New Orleans. Klausburn, going to be with us at 5:40 with our Super Bowl picks and a lot to get to. So hoops on Sunday for Nebraska. You've got plenty of high school action going on, and it's going to be a frigid / potentially slushy weekend, but we'll deal with it. 489-1240 to get in, 489-1240 to dial up, 800-825-5865. Can email Chris at hailvarsity.com. So I ask you this as we're 48 hours, a little less than till the Super Bowl. Best place to watch the Super Bowl. We've all done it, right? We've all watched at home. We've all gone to the Super Bowl party or hosted a Super Bowl party. And then we've gone to the bar. Hopefully you've gone to the bar. But the bar is also a place. I haven't decided yet what I'm doing. I'm going to check Nebraska, Ohio State out Sunday, and then find my way somewhere to watch Philly and Kansas City and Philly. You know, Bradley Cooper is down in New Orleans. He's got an old bread truck that he's slinging Philly cheesesteaks out of, giving them away for free to the friends and vendors and folks wandering Bourbon Street. Never been a big Philly cheesesteak guy. I overdosed on them in high school because that was one of the lunch options I could order. They were good at the time, but you know what? You get sick off something, you don't go back to it. Justice, what say you? Home, party, or bar? Or are you that cool you're going to hit all three?
Well, it just kind of depends on how Sunday goes after Ohio State, to be totally honest. If we're feeling in the celebratory mood, maybe we go, hit the bars. Those of us in the front group that are of age, get a couple in us, then we go hit a house party, and then you never know where the night will take you. It's a good Sunday night before a Monday with no class.
Is that just this Monday, or is every Monday no class?
It's every Monday no class until 7 p.m. So that's quite nice.
All right, that's the way to do it. So back in the day, we would host Super Bowl parties, and the story goes, Brian Colbert, you've seen him on social media, proud grad at University of Nebraska Journalism School, and Brian Colbert has been awesome. He's worked with us, and he's gone on to bigger and better, ESPN National, and with Washington. He's been with the Commanders. And he has followed that team and done their social media work and sit-downs and previews and profiles all season long the last couple of years. So excited for Brian. And I need to say what's up to him again. But so we threw a Super Bowl party, and it was one of those that the game was over early. I think it was the early fumble. It was the bad Peyton Manning Super Bowl, where there was a fumble early and then there was just an avalanche. Was that Seattle, Denver?
Yeah, that was the 43-8 game when Malcolm Smith won the MVP.
Yeah, we were doing a Super Bowl party down in the rail yard, and we all thought it'd be a great idea to get a plate of wings with the ultimate hot hot sauce.
Oh, you were testing your manhood. Is
A
what I'm
little
hearing.
bit, but all of us the next day were huddled up and we're all just, and it wasn't even like the beers. All right. It wasn't the beers. It wasn't the whiskeys. It was the hot sauce that rolled us. We're all laying on the floor, just beat to heck, where it's still sweating out of us. I mean, so that is one cautionary tale of going to a bar and watching. You go to the party, as long as you're not having to host or clean, show up, bring a 6-pack, bring the chips and dip, bring the taco dip, and enjoy.
Never want to be the guy that brings the veggie plate, though. Never want to be that guy.
You know, you could be.
You could be, but do you want to be that person?
You can pay for the veggie dip, but have someone else hand it off.
Right.
Right. Don't associate yourself with the guy that's going to try and eat clean on Super Bowl Sunday. We know Coach Barnett's doing dry rub ribs. Probably do some wings, I'm thinking, but I might just be home for it. I don't know. I haven't gotten the bat signal.
Ordering a little pizza?
Well, Junior's making pizza all day at Lazari's, so I might have to fire that up and go to town there. So we'll take your input on best places to watch. Are you a homebody? Are you going to a party / hosting? Or are you going to the bar? Okay, Uncle Larry is in as we give our starting 5 shout-outs here in the stream. Hail Varsity YouTube. Jeff Snitley is here. Happy birthday, Mr. Snitley, part of the Boulder Peace Treaty. The big 4-0 for Mr. Snitley. Welcome to hell, my friend, once you hit 40, although your metabolism, I think, is still incredible. Says getting older sucks. Beating the Buckeyes Sunday would make it suck less.
Good point.
Arlo is in. The other Dave is here. The other Dave says, great to see Elijah again on the Average Joe this afternoon. We did a live Average Joe Friday pod. That was fun. Patrick is here and says, what's up? The mother of all Budweiser Super Bowl commercials that is burned into your memory. QB1 Ace here from Northern Arkansas. Take Philly and the over. Says QB1 Ace for the big game. Coach Brandon's here, present, but still not here. Tuck, good to have Tuck in. Says, has the football team's video production guys all graduated and left, or am I missing all these videos?
I have the answer to that.
Tell me.
So the director of the football team's content production, Jordan Litt, he's a friend of my buddy's, and he married the daughter of UCF's new strength coach, guy who's on Scott Frost's staff. So UCF had their head creative position open. So he went ahead and took that so that his wife could be closer to her dad and they could all, have a nice little family get together.
So they can live in Florida in February.
Yeah. Pretty good idea. Smart move by him. Can't lie. So
Orlando.
He's going to be the head of creative down there. Good move for him.
Well played. Congrats. Mike here from Cali. Anonymous checks in. Seems that the better NU got at hype videos, the worse they got at playing football.
It's no dig on our creative team.
No, they are amazing at what they do. Tuck, good to have Tuck in. KG is here. First, I did it. Ha. So, pretty good, KG. Love that. Bone-led corn-fed. Well played with the title. Skylar is here. Says, what's up, nerds? Rewind 2001 says Husker basketball saw them as high as a 10 seed. Should we do a quick crop report? Crop report. Where do you think they can go? Let's look at what's left. You got Ohio State, ranked Maryland, ranked Michigan, at Northwestern, at Penn State, Iowa, Ohio State, at Ohio State. 6-3 gets them in.
Oh, it absolutely.
But where does it place them? Does it place them in Dayton? How much cred? What do we still see? We seeing 10, 11 Big Ten teams.
I saw somebody put Nebraska at a 9 seed earlier today, and I was like,
today,
whoa. Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Well, if Creighton stays hot, that helps. They've got a great stretch. We'll talk with Jacob Padilla about where they've got Marquette Saturday, they've got UConn Tuesday, and then they got St. John's in the Garden.
See Patino.
Pitino's rolling.
Yeah, he is got. I mean, he's playing with house money at this point. That team's just on another level.
But
right now.
Creighton got him on New Year's Eve.
They did.
So the Creighton win looks good for the Big Red. The UCLA win looks good for the Big Red. How's St. Mary's been navigating this?
St. Mary's had a loss at San Francisco last night, but they have been dragging that resume metric up. I mean, it's really impressive, the stuff that Randy Bennett's done with them. And that neutral site loss by 1 possession is looking better and better by the day.
So you have that. You won on your Q1, 2s, and 3s are good. I mean, you're looking fine right now. You haven't gotten hurt. There's no quad 3 losses.
Yeah, because the fact that Rutgers beat Illinois bumps them up to a 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if they can just keep afloat, that'll probably stay as a 2. So you're looking at a Husker team with no quad 3 or 4 losses potentially. If you can even get close to 500 in quad 1, that really helps. So, I mean, the quad
4 and 6 right now.
Yeah, and the bubble is horrible this year. Just like looking at what a lot of the bracketologists are saying, even Joe Lenardi's like, this is one of the worst bubbles we've seen. 3 to 4 might just get you comfortably in the field.
Okay,
like you want to get to 5, 6, really cement yourself as like one of those like bye teams. Get yourself into the upper 10 so you can play a bottom tier 7 seed. Maybe slip yourself into the 8-9 conversation. Don't know if you want to see any of the 1 seeds, but that's kind of the territory you're looking with just how bad the bubble's been because everybody's beating up on each other.
Mm-hmm. Well, and listen, right now you've also don't you have a road trip to Indiana? Does Nebraska at Indiana this year, or no?
I don't think no. It was just a one-off at home.
Okay, so Indiana's. We'll see where they factor in for Nebraska, but got to split with Ohio State because you're fighting with them right now for that 11-10-9 number. You can't lose at home to Iowa. You got to split. What do you have to win both, or can you split Northwestern and Penn State on the road?
I think that's one where you'd like to get both.
I think you need to get both because of how late it is.
Yeah, I think it that's probably one of those that if you can really put those two together and just pick those up, you really put yourself in the case for a 10-9 seed. That's probably where you're looking, just because I saw Ohio State was a consensus top 10, late 9 seed earlier today from what I was looking at in the research I did. And that win against Maryland that they had at home yesterday really did a lot of work for them.
Yeah, you were good. Almost got it done at Maryland. If you're Nebraska, you got to drill them when they come to town here after Ohio State. We'll see what fun Ohio State has in store, what Ohio State team you get, because they're dangerous.
Yeah, what do you get out of Michigan too? Because Michigan turns the ball over like they're handing out candy at Halloween. So I mean, it's just a lot of great opportunities still on the board. The one thing that would really hurt your resume, you absolutely cannot lose at home to Minnesota. That is one that you can't.
I forgot about the Gophers, but if Nebraska just locks in and plays defense, away you go. I mean, it's kind of your recipe for success. So let's talk a little college football. We'll dive in with some Brian Christopherson here in a moment. Well, you have Shane Beamer talking to On 3 as Kobe lets us know that he's listening to us. God love you, and watching softball, trying to stream softball. So
softball's
Kobe,
been rolling.
Yeah, keep us up to date there. Goose is here as well. Okay, Goose says, I'm more interested in Nebraska, Ohio State than the big game. We'll have our predictions coming up. But when we talk college football for a moment here, you have Shane Beamer. It is the off season. They went into that bowl game against Illinois at 9-3, ranked 15th. They beat the ACC champ Clemson, in-state rival. But of course, Clemson got in to the college football playoff, and Beamer banging that auto bid drum just a little bit louder with the fact that it's been on the table and then it was tabled. So with the SEC and the Big Ten getting auto bids. And listen, I agree with Shane Beamer on this. Not all conferences are the same. And he has a gripe. He has an absolute gripe that you beat a conference champ head to head. You should be considered, but you needed to finish better than you did in the SEC. And Ole Miss whined about it. Tennessee got in because they handled their business. Bama got left out because they didn't handle their business.
No,
right? And I know that the Indiana talk is there, but the point is this. Indiana played a 9-game conference schedule.
And they handled business for most of it.
They did. They had the eye test a little bit. You don't have a 9-game conference schedule. South Carolina, I give a pass more to than some other teams in the SEC because they will play their in-state rival, which is Clemson. They get Clemson every year. Alabama will open up with somebody tough on the road. LSU will open up with somebody tough on the road. Okay. Tennessee, Nebraska, they're slated to play 26-27. I love that. I want that to happen. I want to be in Rocky Top doing a show.
For sure.
So I can see the argument for the SEC getting an auto bid, but what they need to do is punt the Sanfords, all right, or the North Alabama South Technical Oil Change Institute. Okay,
quit playing Maine in November.
Yes, yeah, right before you get your rivalry game. Get to 9, schedule a good non-conference foe with another Power 5 or 4 league. Because right now the Big Ten's got the argument. They've got Ohio State. They have Oregon. They've got Penn State. You have Michigan. You have SC. See if Nebraska wakes up. I'm for an auto bid, but you got to do more for me on the field if I'm the SEC. Struggling with metabolic syndrome, if your metabolism is out of balance, it could be causing weight gain, fatigue, heart issues, increasing your risk for type 2 diabetes or other illnesses. At Lincoln Weight Loss, they can help you discover your metabolic score with their free body composition analysis. Take control of your metabolism and end the cycle of weight gain and frustration.
Metabolic syndrome is far more common than most people realize. It affects your ability to lose weight, and diet alone isn't enough. The Lincoln Weight Loss approach targets the root cause of weight gain, your metabolism. This proven system will help reset your metabolism so you can lose up to 1 pound of fat per day and keep it off with no exercising, pre-packed foods, or counting calories.
Schmitty here. Lincoln Weight Loss Program has helped me lose 30 pounds quickly by resetting my metabolism so I can keep the weight off for good. Schedule your free consultation today at LincolnWeightLoss.com or call 402-520-8170.
Happy Friday from the 1011 newsroom. Madison Pitch here. Giving it another go. Stand with Women gets its hearing day, and we're there as both sides lay out their arguments at the unicameral. Plus, we've got an in-depth look at bird flu numbers in Nebraska and how local people are protecting their flocks. We've got more news, weather, and sports tonight on 1011. I hope you can join us.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April Breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be
ready to refund.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Are you just as confused as I am about low T remedies? There's so much nonsense. Order here, call here, text this number. How would you know who is best? The experts at Limitless Mail are the best. It's what they do. It's all they do. They would never throw a bottle of pills at you and say, try this. Limitless Mail monitors your symptoms and levels and makes adjustments so you feel your absolute best. Trust the experts. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmail.com.
Insulate your home and start saving on energy costs with Owens Corning Foamular Insulation. These panels are moisture resistant and rugged enough to be used above and below ground. Plus, these pink panels are available in many different sizes and thicknesses to fit any project. Save big on Owens Corning Foamular Insulation. And don't forget to check out our
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you on a Friday. It's Hail Varsity. Chris Schmidt, Justice Rhodey. Welcome in Brian Christopherson with us with Husker 24/7 Sports. Check out him and the old bearded guru, Mike Schaefer and Michael Brunsey at Husker 24/7 BC, where you find him on Twitter. Brian, where are you going to be Sunday after PBA? At home watching the big game? Are you going to a bar? Are you attending a party? Or are you throwing a party?
No, I'll be at the house with my wife and my 2 dogs and about 3 planned menu items. That's it.
What are the menu items? Wings, beer, and pizza?
She hasn't told me what she's making, so I only know one of them. Do you ever get like the Hawaiian rolls, for like little sandwiches?
Yeah, right.
Those things are like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of like crack. So I saw someone who was like, and I don't get all that fired up about bread. I mean, it's bread, but Hawaiian rolls are pretty good. And I saw someone who had this deal where they're putting slits into it, put some Parmesan in it. They kind of had a few other things on top of it. Seemed pretty simple and doable for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with that as a new item for the Super Bowl. So I'll let you guys know how that turns out. It's not that adventuresome, but I think I will be pleased. And it's going to hurt a little bit the progress I've made in my kickboxing class and stuff with some of my nutritioning, but you gotta pay the price on Super Bowl Sunday, I guess.
I think it is everyone's cheat day in America, quite frankly. And you touched on the Hawaiian rolls, and they are gold. You put meat, cheese, whatever else. You rub some sort of butter or oil on the top. You throw it in the oven, and away you go. Were you roped in via a social media reel? I see 100 things on Instagram or Facebook with try this recipe, and 5 minutes later, it's like, that looks pretty incredible. But you've got the mother of all garlic bread, it sounds like, / Hawaiian roll twist to it for your Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes, I was roped in by a reel. Not proud to say that.
That's
it was like a 40-second clip. I get roped in by food reels, dog reels, and advertisements that keep popping up on my Facebook for New Era Twins hats, of which I have about 10 to 12 of them now. So those are my weaknesses.
They pegged you. It's okay. I keep seeing Peaky Blinders reels, and I watch the same reels, but they're just lighted / shaded differently. But yeah, I'm a big food reel guy as well. What's Rocco Spindler going to eat for Super Bowl Sunday? Is he going to do the old Hawaiian rolls as well?
If Rocco were coming over, I would have to probably he'd get a whole 12, a whole dozen for himself. I think he would put away. Big dude at 325. But that's a good segue by you. You're a pro at this. And I did just write about Rocco today, and I was kind of going through our archives looking at his journey at Notre Dame, and the main gist of the article, beyond what he can, I think, bring obviously at guard, is he's had the journey that a lot of guys over there who are younger are taking right now, where it didn't happen right away for Spindler. He only played like 19 snaps his first 2 years, and he was a 4-star recruit. And we've heard Matt Rule speak about, with O-linemen, and we've seen it with our own eyes. It often takes until like that 3rd year of development of both body and mind until you're really ready to contribute. Rocco kind of took off that 3rd season at Notre Dame, had an injury in November that year. That was a tough knee injury that he had to come back from. So I just think he's been through some things and had to clear some hurdles along his way in South Bend that, having listened to his interviews and having heard from guys who covered him up close, I think he's going to be real personable. I think he's going to be a guy that younger players can bend the ear of and probably get a lot of good information, because he's been, he's traveled that road. Some of them are right in the middle of right now.
He's an absolute talent. He's tough, but he's an example, right? I mean, he is that example that if you keep grinding through, you too can go perform. I mean, he's here to help elevate a team. He's here to help elevate a room, and he's here to help get drafted, right? I mean, those are 3 boxes you want to check if you leave Notre Dame. You got a situation in that offensive line room where there's a ton of options. Not that there's not other guys at Nebraska, but he is somebody that really could help push this team to a different level. Do you feel that way?
Well, it's got to count for something that he just played in 4 playoff games, and that you've been through that experience, and you know what it's like to step on the field with the butterflies of a national championship on the line. And so, that's big time stuff. And when you look at him and kind of combine him with some of the guys in the room, I was talking in my previous answer about like those second and third year guys and how he can be useful to them. But there really is quite a number of veterans in that room now. With Teddy and Turner trying to come back, and Henry Latofsky's been around now, and he's a senior, and Justin Evans has played his share of football, and obviously Elijah Pritchett. Those are like 5 or 6 guys who they've banked quite a few snaps. They've been through the ups and downs of what it's like to play in the trenches at this level, and you just continually have to keep your cupboard stocked with guys who have done that. And also, I think, that those 22 to 23-year-old dudes, you just have to have them to compete in the Big Ten. It's cool when you get that story of the guy who's 19 or 20 who busts out on the O-line and is doing quite well for himself. And, I was honestly really impressed with like Gunnar Gatula last year when you consider it was just his second year as a lineman. And we weren't talking about him as like some major eyesore on the line or how he always had to have help or anything. So I think he did pretty good at being ahead of the curve for the position he was playing. But you definitely need to stack your room with these type of guys who, they have some battle scars on them and they've learned from them. And he's one of those guys.
It's Brian Christopherson with us, Hail Varsity Radio. BC, I wanted to get your take on what you think about some of these transfer portal guys and what the reputation that Matt Rule's been putting out into the transfer portal to rope in a guy like Rocco Spindler. What does that kind of tell you about where Matt Rule is and what the NIL muscle of Nebraska is at this current moment?
I think you saw in this cycle that Nebraska with 1890 and how they were ready to attack is now near that upper tier, which you have to be at least be in the conversation. And you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. We know about some of the tackles that came through here, like Isaiah World and guys who I think Nebraska would have liked to have had, but you lose. But you're in the battle, And there was maybe times a couple of years ago where I don't know that the Huskers could have been in those conversations. I also think with Spindler, from what I know of it, yes, Nebraska was obviously very competitive financially, but I think there was appeal of this is a blue blood program still to his father, Mark Spindler, who had played in the NFL and is of that age where he remembers Husker football carrying a certain weight. And I do think when guys get around Matt Rule and Donovan Raiola really too, if you look at Donnie's track record with guys who play that position, he speaks their language really well. I think he's a guy that maybe he's not going to get up in front of the room and dazzle like the fan base or the media with his quotes, but he's a lineman's lineman. And I think when he gets guys on their visits and they talk about technique and all the detail stuff you have to take the next step, I think he's got a lot of appeal. And so when you combine all those factors, that's how you get a guy like Rocco. And I did think it was a really key win to kind of close out what I think was a very good phase for Nebraska in the portal. We'll see. We always, how it goes. We're going to always be like, oh, they had an A-, B+ type class right away. That's just the optimism that comes out. But it did seem like at certain position groups, they sort of got what they wanted. Wide receiver certainly was a case like that. I think you saw guys like Jamar Mosey, how he matters and how he brings Kansas City and St. Louis into the equation more for Nebraska. All that stuff, those are key sidebars that were connected to this portal phase for Nebraska.
BC, we're winding down. I might need 2 minutes of overtime on the other side to hit hoops. Need to get your take on Eckler. I haven't talked to you since he's come on board, but one of our favorites back in the day to cover. And his work speaks for itself at Tennessee.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and he had expectations to be for his group to be dynamic, like in the return game, and like they had 425 punt return yards last year, and we're tops in the country in that. And I think that's just the standard they set after a couple of years. He talked even early in the season like that's what we're going to be. I think he was adaptable to using guys of all stripes, whether they be walk-ons or 4-stars within those units. And they played like 6 true freshmen on their return teams too. So I mean, they were willing to give guys who showed that they were ready to get after it that opportunity. And you know, you think about the 105 roster now that we have. Special teams is going to be a huge factor for guys to carry their weight early on, right? I mean, you're going to have guys who maybe they can't make the 2 deep or start right away, but you definitely want to have a say in things and show your value. And so I got to think it's going to be ultra competitive. And he's just got a dynamic, passionate personality about football that I think sort of really attaches itself at the limbs of special teams play that should be useful to getting guys' attention.
It's so important to have that energy rub off, right? I mean, not only create the excitement, but kind of have it be on the field and for sure on Saturdays.
They called him Crash when he was a player at K-State. You know, he loved contact. He loved having a pet piranha and putting him on a plaque when he died, you know, like in his dorm room. And I mean, you got to be a little crazy like that to be good at special teams sometimes. And, you know, the fact is, though, he's more than just like a guy who body bumps guys with a great vertical after they make a play on the sideline. I mean, you look at his numbers, he's done really well. Like that's why people are excited about him. If he didn't have the data behind it, Husker fans would be like, oh, okay, whatever. But I do think there was a fondness for him when he was early on in the Pelini era. That was an exciting time in Husker football, no matter how that era ended. I think we all were kind of jolted by it when it began, and Eckler was there for that. And he also was a guy who built himself back up after he went to like North Texas and Kansas when Kansas wasn't as good. And you know, he fought his way back to a place like Tennessee. So you got to really respect that.
BC, hang tight. 2 minutes. I'll get you out. We need to talk hoops. Hang tight for me. There he is. Brian Christopherson. Hail Varsity continues.
Lincoln Southeast, I'm Jeff Moats. You can join me for the play-by-play. Coverage begins at 7:05 right here.
FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
In a divorce, it's important to have a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell, a domestic litigation and family law firm. We champion your rights as an individual and your role as a parent, taking an aggressive approach in court while leveling the legal playing field in domestic matters. That's what a champion does. That's what Cordell & Cordell can do for you. Visit us at CordellCordell.com.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys. 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-2085. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-2085. That's 800-555-2085. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-555-2085.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street, family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey, it's Bill Hooks. Coming up on
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, Hail Varsity on a Friday. Chris Schmidt and Justice Rhodey. Hail Varsity YouTube, NASCAR Eric checking in. Brian Christopherson giving us some overtime. Husker 24/7 Sports, and can follow and find BC. Do so at Husker 247 BC. Well, big one on Sunday, BC with Nebraska, Ohio State. Great comeback. Incredible second half against Washington. We're still trying to put into words what my mind's eye is painting, the picture of Fred losing it at halftime on his team to get him to get going. But it worked, and Bryce was phenomenal, and Nebraska's got to keep on keeping on. The schedule is there for them, especially with the home dates, and it starts with Ohio State.
Yeah. As a Major League Baseball fan of a central located team, I think whenever your squad goes out to the West Coast, it's always that tricky part of the season where you can really bolster yourself, or it can kind of blindside your season a little bit. And I think what they did is they gave themselves the opportunity, and us the opportunity, to hopefully, like a month from now, I think we can look back maybe at that 4-day trip out west and say, let's circle that, because it was an interesting piece on the schedule when it first came out. Okay, how are they going to handle that? Will we be interested at that point in this team? And we kind of were when they went out there. And I think now we completely are interested in what happens on Sunday because of how they did it and the way they came back in the second half. And, everybody sort of, excelled at their niche in that. And I think a big part was too Connor getting going. I really liked that, he hit his first 4 threes. And if you go back to that game against Washington, it was, I think, 57-56 Washington, or 54-53, something like that. And Connor hits a 3 to give Nebraska back the lead. And he scores 10 points in about a 6-minute stretch. And at the end of that stretch, Nebraska was up 7. I just think as we go through the stretch run of the season, he's sort of that wild card to me. He's that guy 4 threes, knocking 4 threes a night, something like that. That could put the Huskers over the edge. So I like how the schedule sets up. You got 2 quad 1 games at home. I kind of almost put Michigan after the road trip that they will have into that. And if you look at that, it's Ohio State, Maryland, and Michigan are the next 3 home games. Get 2 of them, 2 quad wins, 2 quad 1 wins, split at least on the road with Northwestern, Penn State. You got to take care of Minnesota and Iowa at home, but I think that you can see the path toward being on the brackets now, and that's something we wouldn't have said 2 weeks ago.
No, and it's been a winding road, hasn't it? You felt great, 12-2 start. An 0 for 6, with some of those being heartbreakers. The woulda, coulda, shoulda, as far as, okay, you're back on the seed line in a lot of publications, great, but what could you have been had you not dropped to Rutgers and SC? What could you be if you'd still be flawless at home? But it's a grind, and you've seen the March take a lot out of different Big Ten teams. I mean, you look at Oregon; they've been spinning. They've been trying to right themselves. You don't know what SC team you're going to get on a given night. You don't know what Ohio State team you're going to get. Maryland's been pretty consistent. Sparty's been pretty consistent, but hell, Purdue even dropped one at home against somebody that they shouldn't have. I'm forgetting who it was that upset them. It wasn't an Illinois or a Sparty.
It was Ohio State.
Okay, yeah, Ohio State went and got that one. That's the top 10, right? So, and then Mick Cronin has scared the hell out of everybody in Westwood. So UCLA's playing better basketball now. So what do you foresee? We'll get you out on this with the Big Ten. Do you see 10? Do you see 11? We know the SEC is inviting everybody except their bottom three.
Yeah, I think what I laid out, if you do the math with that, it would be winning 5 of the last 8, and that would put you at 10. And I think you're in. I think you could be in with 9, but why not get 10? That's what these next 2 home games are about in a way. Like if you could protect PBA sort of like you did last year and handle these big games, and it is going to be a big time environment Sunday. They need to start fast and get that crowd in it with them. Where they're partners for that. And if they can win the next 2 at home, then you're playing from ahead, sort of like they were last season, where down the last 5 games, it felt like they were always like 1 game ahead of where they needed to be. That's what these next 2 games could be like. But they inside the walls, they need to keep that mindset that I think was really successful in bouncing back. And you remember Fred said, every game's got to be our Super Bowl. And you can't look 24 hours even beyond that next game. It's just what's in front of you right now. And so that's got to be the whole thing. Ohio State's got to be on the board. That's it. You're not getting distracted by what everyone else is saying, and see what that does for you. But you're right. The teams that keep their wits about them, despite losing streaks, you have to be able to do that in this day and age in basketball. I mean, UCLA, people thought was dead, like a month ago. Texas A&M last year, at one point, like in mid to late February, had lost 5 in a row, and no one was even talking about them making the brackets, and they ended up beating Nebraska and being really dangerous in March. So we always have to keep that in mind too as we talk about things, because I think sometimes we can fly off the handle a little bit and decide stuff is over, and it's not over sometimes as quickly as we will proclaim it. And I think that's what Nebraska's proven the last week or 2.
KC or Philly?
KC will win by 3 like they always do. I don't say that with like disdain.
You sounded defeated though. You sounded a little defeated.
Well, I was defeated right away when the Super Bowl, when it was like, this is the matchup. I'm not a fan of either team. And I was like, football's so dumb, but it's not dumb. It's a great game, and I'll watch it. So
Amen.
Kansas City is going to win by 3 points.
All right. Send me a picture of the Hawaiian rolls, all right?
All right, I'll do that. Yep.
BC, be good, bud. Thanks.
Yep, thanks.
There he is, Brian Christopherson with his Husker 24/7 Sports. Another hole-in-one at 16 at the Waste Management Open. There's hugs, awkward hugs.
The beers were flying.
Shoves, fist bumps, chest bumps. And incredible. I got to get down for that.
It's the People's Open, the People's event.
They had some guy that could play nose guard today and 30 years ago that was sliding down one of the slopes, getting cheered on.
Saw that video.
And was just rolling in the grass, and they're going to have to get a forklift or a crane or something to get him back up. It's going to be one of those mountain rescues,
They're gonna have to rappel down.
Yeah, where there's a crane. It's like the scene you saw on social media where there's an elephant about to fall off the edge of a cliff, and here's a backhoe here using the front trying to lift the elephant. The poor guy, he's probably still stuck. And then Shooter McGavin's Twitter is glorious.
That guy's great.
Damn you people! This is golf. But, that par 3 on 16, the beer showers are flowing. Folks are cheering. It's 87 degrees down there. And maybe next year, a road show to Joe Mama's. I can get to Pebble Creek, but I need to get to the Waste Management Open. Kobe, yeah. It's got a nice ring to it. We'll wind down this first hour at Hail Varsity.
340B Hospital Markup Program. Hospitals mark up discounted drugs and pocket the difference, charging patients $5,000 for cancer drugs they bought for $500 and suing patients that can't pay. It's how big tax-exempt hospitals abuse the 340B program. If patients aren't benefiting, where's the money going? Learn more at 340bmarkup.org. Paid for by Pharma. If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Whether you're buying or selling your first home or your third, let Rich Rodenberg from Coldwell Banker NHS Real Estate guide you through the process. Listen to Start Moving for tips on buying and selling in today's world. Start Moving every Saturday morning at 9:30 on KFOR.
The best thing about Nebraska winters is planning for the spring. Hi, this is Chris Goforth. Join me.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
One final time this hour coming up. Bill Dolman, the pride of Fairbury, the professor, going to join us at 5:05. Jacob Padilla, all things basketball, Big Red, Creighton, and some high school hoops. Talk to Jacob at 5:25. He is imaginary. He wears red. It's Clausburn with his Super Bowl pick and maybe some other things on Claus's mind. 489-1240 to get in, 800-825-5865. Can dial up, can email Chris at hailvarsity.com, and find us on the different social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube with Hail Varsity, and take us with On Demand on your time, Hail Varsity podcast at when you search Hail Varsity Radio. Real easy to do. So we have got the rundown from Brian Christopherson. Great couple of segments with him. Appreciate his time. He is going with the Hawaiian rolls, probably the garlic bread / type setup. We've all been, no pun intended, or possibly reeled in with a reel that shows food.
Yep.
And especially if you're hungry, you are hooked.
Oh, yeah.
And you go do it that way. I'll probably do the wings for sure. Order a pizza from Junior at Lazari's, and I'll dry rub the wings, but I air fry them.
Ooh,
which is incredible. I think it's gonna be too cold, even though the smoker got moved to the garage. It was either me or the smoker that got moved to the garage, so I had to sell out the smoker. But I haven't smoked wings in a while. But I think it's a little easier year. There was one year I had to go to 5 different spots to gather enough chicken wings because they were in that chicken wing shortage. I know eggs are insanely expensive, and I know bird flu has made it hell for wings, but I think wings are still easier / more affordable to get. I don't know. I'll get slapped in the face tomorrow when I go look. But eggs are more expensive right now, fair to say, than chicken wings with the flu going on.
Yeah. I think it's probably where that's heading. So,
and if and I'm kind of a snot with the wing flavor, it's got to be the dry rub. If I am going to use sauce, I like Caribbean jerk.
Caribbean jerk's good.
Where I sweat a little bit, but the kind of legendary place, at least in Lincoln, that does their grilled hot. We'll just leave it at that. No free shout out Friday. That place is money. Reminder to get buckled up. Driving is a full-time job. Phones, food, and friends. They need your attention when you're not driving. Stop the distractions. Just drive. A message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. You looking forward to Tom Brady on the call Sunday?
Honestly,
I'm looking forward to Brady grabbing a helmet again.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Brady doing personnel moves with the Raiders.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm the last guy to pile on somebody at that level doing broadcasting. But give me Olsen or give me death next time.
Yeah. I think Burkhart's money. What he does is great.
He's good, but and it's not that Tom's awful, but he's just
inexperienced.
He's too tight. Right? Tom's too tight, man.
He's Tom. He's Tom to a T.
You'd be better off with Gronk riding shotgun to loosen him up and doing Jello shots. Yeah. All right, Bill Dolman coming up. Jacob Padilla, Clausburn, hour 2 on the way.
Bryant provides you with solutions that save. Save big immediately with attractive rebates, and save every day with lower operating costs. Most important, though, the systems are selected to fit you. The right system, priced right, properly installed. That's the way Bryant works for you. How much can you save? Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing for a free estimate. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it.
100% on time, 100% guaranteed, 100% wow. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath delivers all that, all in 3 days. Here's how it works. Create a kitchen idea, give them 3 days, and suddenly your kitchen becomes the centerpiece of your home. A place where everyone gathers no matter how much room you have in the house. Every project is 100% on time, 100% guaranteed, and 100% wow. Invest in your family and your home. Invest in a kitchen with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. 3-Day Kitchen offers a 100% satisfaction guarantee and will complete the job to your liking, guaranteed. They're in and out of your home in 3 days or less with top quality products and a great crew. And they're finished on time with no delays. Get details now. Start at 3daykitchenandbath.com. That's the number 3, then daykitchen.com. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
For all your modeling needs, call Good Guy Construction at 435-3355.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A judge today paused President Trump's efforts to lay off 2,200 workers with the U.S. Agency for International Development, which provides critical food and medicine to countries in need. President Trump praising Elon Musk's efforts on cutbacks at agencies.
You see it with the
USAID, but you're going to see it even more so with other agencies and other parts of government.
Legal challenges piling up as the White House tries to clean house at federal agencies, along with President Trump's executive orders. In Washington state, the state attorney general filing suit over a directive to cut federal funding and gender-affirming care.
One of Donald Trump's first moves after taking office was to halt federal funding to medical institutions that provide gender-affirming care to those younger than 19. Washington State Attorney General Nick Brown is challenging that executive order.
It very clearly targets transgender people. It is denying them health care that is not denied or taxed for anybody else.
Oregon and Minnesota have joined the lawsuit, as have 3 individual doctors on behalf of their patients. They're seeking an emergency order from the courts to restore that funding. Jeff Padilla, ABC News, Seattle.
3 more hostages set to be released tomorrow by Hamas. It's part of the Gaza ceasefire deal. No Americans are on that list. ABC's Britt Clinton is in Jerusalem with more.
During the first 6-week phase of the ceasefire, a total of 33 hostages should be freed in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and detainees in Israel. 6 Americans among those hostages still held in Gaza.
President Trump at a joint briefing after talks with Japan's prime minister today. Both leaders announced Japan's Nippon Steel will drop its bid to purchase U.S. steel and instead make an investment in the company. In New Orleans, the music is flowing, and fans too. Ahead of Sunday's Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs going for a 3rd straight Super Bowl win up against the Philadelphia Eagles. You're listening to ABC News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
5 arrests in a drug and weapons bust. Hello, I'm Will Wilson. It's 42 degrees at KFOR. A search warrant was executed on Thursday evening at a home near 24th and Potter, which resulted in 5 arrests.
As part of an ongoing narcotics investigation that determined methamphetamine was being sold from that location.
Lincoln Police Public Information Manager Erica Thomas says investigators found meth, marijuana, drug paraphernalia, cash, and multiple guns inside the home. A 38-year-old Lincoln man was suspected of overdosing and was taken to the hospital. Thomas says he will be cited and lodged once he's released. Read more at KFORnow.com. A car pedestrian collision late Thursday night in eastern Seward County has left 1 person dead. According to the Seward County Sheriff's Office, the collision happened along 154th Road, which is State Highway 103 at Pioneers Road, about a mile south of Pleasantdale or 20 minutes west of Lincoln. Preliminary investigation shows a pedestrian was walking southbound on the roadway when they were struck by a vehicle. First responders from Pleasantdale Fire and Rescue arrived and gave aid to the victim, who was then flown to Bryan West Campus in Lincoln, where that person was pronounced dead. The name of the victim will be released at a later date. The principal at Ashland Greenwood High School has been named the next associate superintendent for civic engagement of Lincoln Public Schools. Brad Jacobson will start the role on July 1st, succeeding John Scretta, who was named LPS's interim superintendent by the Lincoln School Board in January. Jacobson served 16 years as Ashland Greenwood High School's principal. February is Heart Health Month, and Lincoln Fire and Rescue, in an effort with the American Heart Association, will be offering free CPR demonstrations this Sunday from 11:30 to 1 in the concourse area of Pinnacle Bank Arena ahead of the Nebraska and Ohio State men's basketball game.
Our goal this month is to have everyone in the city of Lincoln ready to lend a hand.
LFR Public Information Officer MJ Learman says they will be demonstrating hands-only bystander CPR on mannequins so people know what to do to help victims survive a sudden cardiac event. Tonight on KFOR boys basketball, as Lincoln East hosts Lincoln High, coverage starts at 7:05. Slight chance of wintry mix overnight with a low near 26. I'm Will Wilson, KFOR News.
These are today's top headlines.
New scrutiny into Elon Musk's Doge staffers with a resignation over racist remarks. With U.S. aid workers getting the boot, Trump will talk with world leaders. As eggs are now prized possessions, bird flu shuts down New York poultry markets.
Don't miss a thing. Stay connected for whatever's next.
News that affects you. On air and on demand, 24/7. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
Keep up with the local news, sports, your favorite talk shows, and pro shows on KFOR wherever you roam. Stream us 24/7 at KFORnow.com or on your mobile. You can download the free iHeart or TuneIn app and stream KFOR on the go.
The following is a paid program. Content is provided by Hurrdat Media and may contain pre-recorded material. He's the pride of Fairbury, an average Joe. Bill Dolman, the professor.
I had a 6 ACT in 1967. One time I got an A and my grandma beat me for cheating.
Now with Hail Varsity Radio.
Rolling along in hour 2, it's Hail Varsity Radio. Justice Rhodey. Chris Schmidt is walking around here somewhere. We'll find him eventually. Rolling along, talking some Husker hoops, talking a little Husker softball. Picked up a 12-2 win by Mercy Rule. Big one there for Husker softball. Schmitty back in. We welcome in the pride of Fairbury, Bill Dolman, with us. Professor Dolman, how are you doing on this fine Friday? Great to see you rocking the hoodie today instead of the old polo.
All I know is I've taught you well that whenever you get an opportunity to whack the boss and take over the show, that's pretty much broadcasting 101 right there. I just got an opportunity to take things over. I don't know what happened.
Uh-huh.
Well, welcome to the Justice Rhodey Show.
Yeah,
that's an A for the
I
day.
asked permission. He asked permission. He got up. He said, "I need to go to the bathroom." Right, and a little Corleone later.
Yeah.
So, Bill, how are you? Long time.
It has been a long time since our meeting earlier today on the Average Joe Sports Show pop-up live broadcast.
That was fun.
It was good. Good conversation as always when the Average Joes get together, as we will again on Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. ish.
Yes,
which is our trademark.
The ish is real. Home party or bar for your Super Bowl?
Sometimes it just feels like I don't have a preferred destination until the day arrives.
Same. That's kind of where I'm at.
But
I'll be over at 4.
Well, I've got the bourbon. I think home is probably at this stage the priority. Getting together with friends is pretty fun. The challenge of going to the bar, unless it's the bar.
That's what I said earlier.
Yeah, then that would be priority one. But I think when you have people are charging cover and you don't know if you're going to have a place to sit and what the service is going to be like.
How pissed off is the cook?
Yeah. At my place, I know where stuff is. And at your place, I know where stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even better at your place because I didn't pay for it.
Well, it's me a little too chilly to probably dust the grill off. I don't know that the smoker, we could smoke some wings. I think we're going to have to fire up pizza from Lazari's, make Junior work.
Yeah, I think home's the priority.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill, so Nebraska hoops, Husker football, and of course the glory of the Waste Management Open with the beer showers and holes in one. And we're kind of batting this around. We're getting egged on and / encouraged by our friends in the stream a year from now to set up a live afternoon spot for, I don't know, let's take a road trip and do a live show from the Waste Management.
Hey, Justice Rhodey to the
yes.
To the
Can we pull that off? Do you have any PGA connections?
Not anymore. Back in the day when I was in Houston, I was the golf host. That was a lot of fun.
Okay.
The Waste Management, I think, is jumped the shark. That was fun.
Imagine setting up on 16, the second tier.
Yeah, I know, but I look. I like the rowdiness. I like the challenge that some of those golfers think that they want. The crowd, like Bubba Watson would cheer on. Let me hear you. That kind of thing. That's kind of fun, and it breaks the rules of decorum of golf. But it's become a little too Blue-Tarski for me anymore. I mean, I look, I can handle it, but yeah, I think they got to scale that back somehow, and I'm not sure how they do.
Trank darts.
That could be, yeah, that could be. Like Will Ferrell in Old School.
Yeah,
take one to the neck in case you get out of control. But
I got to take one of these little bastards down.
Yeah.
Get out
that might be better too. You give half the crowd trank darts, and give the others cases of the Busch Light, and see which one wins in the end.
Brian Snitley, part of the Boulder Peace Treaty, checks in. Great suggestion, jambalaya.
Yeah,
since it's the New Orleans Super Bowl. New Orleans has only had the Super Bowl 48 times, but we'll get to Bill Dolman's Super Bowl picks. How are you feeling about Nebraska basketball?
Like I have for the last 110 years that the program has been in existence, or however long it's been, which coincides with the time that Kent Pavelka has been the Nebraska play-by-play voice. I mean, they take us on these exasperating rides every single year. And, I guess maybe back in the Moiba days, you probably knew what to expect night in and night out, but every now and then they would tease you and make it to the NCAA tournament, not win, but they can go on some of the most exciting runs over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, followed by the most disappointing and frustrating and exhausting 2 or 3 week stretches. And then you don't know what you're going to get when you get to the end of April. And so what's going on right now just reminds me of almost every season I've ever seen in the last, few decades. Now Danny's teams were pretty fun, right? Danny was
fun. Babbers tweeted out a picture of him with Danny Nee at a press conference, Babbers and Lee and the crew covering Husker hoops. And, that might have been a 30-year-old pick, black and white, 35-year-old pick, but Danny was just a party.
When after games, when he'd hold court at the Z table at Barry's,
yes,
was amazing. But let me say, I will say this, and I liked. that was my ESPN days. I'd call him Big 8 and Big 12 basketball when Danny was at Nebraska in the 90s. And look, I've had the privilege in my career of being around some really great coaches that had just incredible discipline in the way they ran their practices and their teams and managed games, all of that. Kelvin Sampson, for me, remains at the top of the list. The way he just had control of his Oklahoma teams and administered practice and watched his teams. Danny's teams were different. Danny was different. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could hear a pin drop sometimes in a Kelvin Sampson practice. Danny's practices were often like, guys, listen, guys, listen.
Quality shot.
Meanwhile, they've got, slam dunk contests going on both ends, or guys jacking up three. But they played ball within their personality, and they were, running, gunning fun. But it was, I'm not going to say they were the most highly disciplined teams on a Friday night shoot around, but they were amazing. But whatever button, Fred pushed, found, or threat, I don't know what it was, but Nebraska's played some really good basketball the last 3 games, outside of the first half against Washington. But look, they just hit shots all the time. They just you can't stop a team that's making shots if they're feeling it. But they held them to 25 points in the second half and outscored them by 24. I mean, it's one thing if Nebraska had held them to 25, and they outscored them, just enough to win, maybe what would have been, by 11. They outscored them by 24 points in the second half.
Killed them.
Right. And if you just look at the score and they say, wow, they beat, Washington on the road by 10 or whatever it was, 14. That does not tell the story of what transpired over 40 minutes. But they're back. They're back not just in the Big Ten tournament, they are, I think, first four in conversation, if not even a little bit higher, because they've got, the quality wins, the quad wins, and all of that stuff. And they've got a schedule down the stretch, 5 of 8 at home. Their toughest game on paper right now is Michigan. That game's at home. Justice and his buddies will be juiced for that. They might go 6-2 down the stretch and not be in need of a win in Indianapolis to get into the tournament.
I want to go back to Danny because you mentioned the holding court at Barry's, the pit.
The Z table.
Yeah, he was such a salesman that he got Steve Schmidt to buy him a beer. and ended up in Kemper the following weekend. You beat Oklahoma, Billy Tubbs, and the infamous comb over on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Nebraska edged out Oklahoma. This was 92, I think. And it was the rock fight of all rock fights, the 10:45 a.m. tip-off at Kemper on a Thursday. This was 92. 47-45 put back at the buzzer. Nebraska a 5 seed or a 4 seed. K-State the 5 seed. Danny was freaking out because we lost, and the wife is still going to shop all weekend down at Crown Center. I mean, but the weekend before, man, I mean, there's folks, the Beyond the Rebounders Club people that are just lined up to shake hands, feeling it. And he's just selling tickets, man. He's just getting folks down to Kemper, and it was great. Now, a couple of his stars that were juniors that year. This was the team before the team that won the Big 8 tournament. Steve Schmidt may have also closed the bar with 2 of his juniors, the hotel bar.
Steve Schmidt could afford it because he was making more money anyway. But
But I'm saying the fact that 2 of your 4 leading scorers were closing the bar down.
Yeah. That's what I go back to. I saw it at practice. He saw it at the bar. Same thing, right?
Right. No, I love it. I love it.
That was an amazing era of Nebraska basketball. The most personality in the history of Nebraska basketball, without question. Were the Danny Nee years. But getting back to what this team has done in the last, week and a half is remarkable given where they've been. And I will say this, the key for this team down the stretch, maintain its identity, which I think they've kind of recovered. They got to hit free throws. I know that sounds simple, but if you go back, and I wrote this down, if you go back to when they were in their losing streak, they were 62 of 96 from the free throw line. And that's 64%. And they lost, 3 games by 5 points or less, and 1 game in overtime.
Yep.
And in 1 game, they shot 3 of 8 from the free throw line. Really, those for the Purdue and Wisconsin blowouts. But, Nebraska's been a fairly decent free throw shooting team the last 3 years. But, man, when they tank it at the line, they tank it in the win-loss column. And they come back the last 3 games and they're shooting 74%, which I think is a little substandard from what they had been earlier this season. But if you can shoot above 72, 73, and in that 75 plus range, you're going to win games.
You're going to win
games.
They
weren't doing that. They were well below 70% in their 6-game losing streak. So they have got to hit the free shots when they get them. And even, especially when they're struggling from behind the arc, like they did at Washington.
Just getting the opportunity. I mean, 20 plus attempts on the road says something too. It's an intent to get to the rim. That's big time.
That's at Washington. It was the Oregon game that they went 4-23 from 3-point range.
Yeah, and they supplemented with the free throw line.
Right. Yeah.
We got to get your take on the Super Bowl. Who you rooting for? How do you think it shakes out?
Well, I don't want to buy into conspiracy theories, but if the NFL is the entertainment industry that I guess it truly is, I suppose that they would like to have Patrick Mahomes do something that Tom Brady never did, and that's win 3 Super Bowls in a row. So there you go. So to that end, I'd like to see Philadelphia maybe win it. I love the Nick Sirianni drama in Philadelphia that guy, gets him to a Super Bowl, goes 0-2 or 1-3 to start this season. They want to fire him. He wants to fight the fans, and now he's got him in the Super Bowl. It goes back to my whole Ryan Day in Michigan thing. I hope Ohio State wins the national championship. They lose to Michigan, and then see what they want to do with Ryan Day. With Nick Sirianni, if he wins the Super Bowl this year and starts 0-2, Philly fans going to want to blow him out of the place again. I love that kind of chaos and drama. So, look, I'd like to see Philly. I'd like to see Saquon Barkley, stick it to the Giants a little bit, win one more before they ban the brotherly shove. I refuse to call it the tush push. That sounds stupid.
Yeah,
the brotherly shove is great, but they're probably gonna ban that. So that's disappointing. So anyway,
well, Cam Jurgens and a Super Bowl ring sounds awesome. Nick Gates and a Super Bowl ring sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I just don't know that I go against and the line was 2.5. It's now even between Philly and Kansas City. In a tight ball game, you've got Mahomes. What's real with Kansas City? I mean, history says they're going to give up 100.5 to teams on the ground. And some of the teams that have reeled it off the last 5 weeks have been good rushing football teams. This is a 1-2 punch that's very dangerous with the quarterback and then the Saquon run game.
Yeah, I think Saquon Barkley is that is a real difference maker because I think with teams have good running games or decent running games, but they've got a great one, and he's had one of the best seasons for a running back. I cannot remember in how long because the running game has been kind of phased out, and it's all a quarterback and wide receiver league. But he's a running back that is a total difference maker that Kansas City, I don't think, has seen this season. All
right, Billy D, give me a score.
Fly Eagles fly 20. That's no odd score. 29-25.
Okay, win and outright for the Eagles. Billy D, we'll see you this weekend, brother.
All right, go Big Red. See you.
There he is. Jacob Padilla is coming up.
For 15% off. John Deere engineers its oil filters specifically for large ag equipment and commercial and residential mowers. With premium materials, these filters meet the unique demands of your farm and acreage. Following a strict maintenance routine with premium John Deere oil and filters ensures your equipment will run efficiently for years. Visit your local Acre store to start shopping today.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online. I read that Black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise, if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-2085. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-2085. That's 800-555-2085.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back into it. It's Hail Varsity. Jacob Padilla joins us at Jacob Padilla _ where you follow him all over the hoops scene and incredible volleyball coverage as well. Jacob, how's the weekend looking, man? Thanks for the time.
Weekend's looking good. We got Creighton Marquette at CHI Health Center tomorrow, so that'll kind of be the center of the weekend, and then we'll see. That should be a lot of fun, and we'll see what happens outside of that.
No, absolutely. I want to go to Nebraska basketball. We'll get some Creighton thoughts as well, but what was your takeaway with Nebraska's second half? A lot of us were, had seen the movie before in the first half, but really kind of a different Nebraska. The anti-Iowa second half is Fred and company are now on a 3-game win streak with the Buckeyes looming.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you needed to see from Nebraska if they're going to salvage this season. You can't lose to Washington. You're a better team than Washington, and you got to go out and prove it. And obviously, the Huskies came out and buried made their first 7 or 8 of the first 9 or whatever it was, and from 3, that was rough. But I think that as long as your team is kind of mentally strong enough to weather that, they weren't going to continue that at that rate. So what you have to do is kind of what you can control, do that better. And I think Nebraska did that as the game went on. They kind of didn't let the threes falling early kind of dissuade them from the game plan and executing and playing hard. And eventually they're able to kind of take control of the game. Obviously, Washington, it would have been if you had told Nebraska fans 5 minutes into the game that Nebraska was going to end up making more threes in the game than Washington did, I don't think they would have believed you. So that's, again, the importance of kind of being mentally tough, and that's something that Nebraska certainly was not during that stretch. They weren't together. They didn't handle adversity well, and that's been a trend or a theme of Fred Hoiberg's entire tenure at Nebraska. He often talks about that and how his teams handle adversity, and that's something that he's always looking at as an area for concern. And Nebraska did not handle adversity well during that losing streak, and we saw them. I think this was a big step forward in that regard.
Jacob, when you look at just the shifting game plan over these last couple of games, Nebraska's been more aggressive going to the rim. They've looked more concise with their shot selection. They've been a lot better mentally and attacking the glass and just defending all 30 seconds of the shot clock. When you look at that from a leadership standpoint and from, what this coaching staff's done down to the seniors and Bryce and Juwan, what does this tell you from a leadership and toughness standpoint that they were able to get this turned around and make these adjustments?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Bryce and Juwan talked about, why they came back this year. And to be those guys, to have that kind of season that they're capable of. And obviously it was not looking that way for a stretch. Those guys were struggling, and now the turnaround has coincided with Bryce Williams getting back to playing like an all Big Ten first team player. And Juwan obviously had a good one against Washington, and had some stretches here. We're seeing Hoiberg kind of tweak with the lineup recently. Like he's trying basically all kinds of different combinations, seeing what works. They've gone back to kind of Bryce putting the ball in his hands, and while I don't know that that's his best role and allows you to kind of, or allows him to play to his strength and what he does best, it's the best option they have. And he is good enough to succeed in that role. So that's kind of what Nebraska's going to need. I think we've seen so far that you've got some guys that can play a role, but it has to be Bryce in particular, and then Juwan doing what he does as well. Those have to be the constant. Those guys have to be really good every single night, and then you hope to get enough out of the role players in any given game, depending on the matchups and who you're going against.
What's your gut tell you about Asijan as February turns into March? Was fantastic in the win with not only kind of some cuts to the rim, but the catch and shoot from three, his forte, has gotten, grittier on the glass from time to time. You want to see more consistency there. Could this month and this next stretch really ride on Asijan's production? You feel like, all right, Bryce and Juwan got to be your 1-2, but Nebraska's still searching for that 3. It's been Morgan occasionally. You've got Berke that's found his role on the glass. Sam's the energy guy that does everything and all the little things. And then you got Asijan, who's a deadeye from downtown. Can he help push this team to the finish line?
He has to. You look at the way this team is built, and especially if they're putting the ball in Bryce's hands more to be the initiator, like Bryce is your other best three-point shooter on this team. And if he's the guy having to create for everybody else, then that's probably less shots being created for him in terms of the spot up good look from 3. So you got to have somebody out there to make teams pay, to space the floor, and to give them something to think about. You got to have someone that's spacing the floor for Bryce to go to work. And Connor is the one guy that can go out there and get hot. And so they need to continue to get as much as they possibly can out of him. Construct your lineups in such a way that you maximize and get him shots while he's out there. You don't want to probably overexpose him playing like 36 minutes a night, going out there and having to take on tough defensive assignments and having to create more inside the arc. I think you want him out there doing what he does well, and that's again part of the Hoiberg kind of tweaking lineups, and he and his staff have to find a way to maximize what they've got. And I do think he's got to be a key piece for this to work and for all the pieces to fit together. And we'll see 20 minutes hit 4 or 5 from 3 in that Washington game. He's not going to be hitting 4 or 5 every night, but you got to get him out there and see if he can get him going. Like that's going to be an important part to get enough firepower to keep winning.
Jacob, when you look at this Sunday coming up, it's an Ohio State squad that comes into town fresh off the back of a ranked win at home. It was a late bank-in 3 from Bruce Thornton. If you're looking at this from a matchup standpoint, it's obviously got to be Thornton at the top of the scouting chart, then Micah Parrish, then you could put whoever in that third slot. If you're Nebraska, what's the game plan defensively to try to limit some of the guard play that Ohio State can put on the floor?
Yeah, well, Ohio State's as tough a team to figure out as anybody. I'm not sure if they're good. I'm not sure if they aren't. They dropped some ones that kind of make you raise your eyebrows, but then they've gone out and won some big ones as well. So that's a team that, I think Thornton is obviously going to be the key there. Like they've got to find a way to not let him go off for 30, whatever it was he put in that last game. He is having a great year. So we'll see. Kind of I would assume you start Sam Hoiberg on him. Is he able to kind of hold up, like giving up a little bit of? I mean, Sam's a strong kid, but giving up just a little bit there from a size perspective and experience perspective there. But you can't lock in on one guy though. They've got 4 guys out from double figures, and I think Junie Mobley, the freshman there, he'll be an interesting one. It's kind of similar to Asijan, where he's a guy that can get hot and is going to go out there and hunt threes. So, I mean, that could be a big swing thing there, is like which one of those two is coming in and knocking down shots and having a better game. But it's going to be up to team effort. Like they can't, you look at it, they are shooting 37% on the season from 3. So Nebraska has to be locked in. They can't they can't be in complete scramble mode where guys are late on closeouts and they're giving up the quick swing threes. We've seen them kind of be inconsistent with that, with their execution of their kind of fly around defense. This has to be much more the Creighton style of everybody's flying around and on point and nobody's late and they're getting a hand up on every closeout and things like that, because it is a team that can go out there and knock down shots and give them to them.
Jacob Padilla is with us, Hail Varsity Radio. Jacob, let's talk Creighton. Chance to split with Marquette. Chance to sweep UConn. Chance to sweep St. John's. Just a game back in the Big East standings. Pretty vital stretch these next three.
Yeah, I mean, 8 in a row, 5 in a row on the road, and now you get a home-heavy finish to the season here with 5 of their last 8 at CHI Health Center. And that starts with these 2 coming up against the other conference contenders. I mean, you get Marquette and UConn in your place. You've already played them at their place. You got the one against UConn. You felt like you had a chance against Marquette the first time if a few things go a little differently. So I think you're confident coming into playing them at your own place. You can execute the game plan. And then UConn, I don't know. They're tough from a health perspective. They're getting McNeely back, but they've got a couple other guys that are questionable for their next game. And I think one of their guys is going to Hassan Diarra is going to be dealing with something, I guess, the rest of the season, having to play through pain. So UConn's in a tough spot, but they're still a really good team, and McNeely makes a world of difference for them. So this is the toughest stretch of the season for Creighton here. That they got through the road tests. Now you get a couple at home here, and if they find a way to get these next 2, then you're going to St. John's with a chance to really kind of take firm control of the conference race there if you can find a way to win at their place.
Jacob, will wind down with the high school slate. What's on your radar?
Yeah, it's kind of a lighter Friday. The big one was last night with Millard North pulling one out against Omaha Westside. I believe 69-63 was the final there. And Millard North, that's wins over Creighton Prep and Westside this week. So that was a team that we were high on going into the season. They had some struggles early on, and they appear to be kind of putting the pieces together here for a postseason run. So I think that was the biggest one of the week. And then we'll see. I think one on Saturday I'm looking at is Kearney coming to Bellevue West. Kearney's got Jacob Weber, who Nebraska, Creighton have both offered. Got a handful of offers around the country. Just one of the best shooters in the state, playing with Ben Johnson, who's going to Fort Hays. Is leading the state in assists as kind of like 6'4" guard forward type. So just kind of a fun matchup. Somebody that maybe hasn't, if fans are in the Metro, Bellevue West is a good young team. I think that'll be a fun game on the slate for Saturday.
Should be good. Jacob Padilla is with us. Hail Varsity, Herd at Sports at Jacob Padilla _ Jacob will holler again. Appreciate you much. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Thanks.
Good to spend time with Jacob all over hoops. Good stuff with volleyball and Creighton. So he is imaginary. He wears red. Super Bowl pick, the infamous Klasberg. It's on the way. It's Hail Varsity.
Basketball Saturday, Millard West is at Lincoln Pius X. You can join Chris Schmidt for the play-by-play. Coverage begins at 4:20 right here.
FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
Get organized with a new Dakota Closet system at Menards. Dakota Closets are versatile and can be installed in any room, from home offices and laundry rooms to walk-in or reach-in closets, and so much more. Use the You Create Closet Planner, available in-store or online, to design a Dakota Closet system that maximizes your space and matches your style. Don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards. There's just nothing like live music. It has the ability to motivate, inspire, and enhance a moment, a night, and a lifetime like nothing else. Treat yourself to a live music escape or give someone you love the gift of a concert experience. Check out the complete lineup of upcoming shows at PinnacleBankArena.com and review the list of acts scheduled to perform outdoors this season at PinewoodBowlTheater.com. Behold the joy of live music and immerse yourself in spectacular sights and sounds at Pinnacle Bank Arena or Pinewood Bowl.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch gardening videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela. Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
KFOR is now available in high definition stereo.
This is the good stuff.
Listen in your HD radio equipped vehicle.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, it's Hail Varsity. Chris Schmidt, Justice Rhodey. Find the show, Hail Varsity, YouTube, Hail Varsity Radio, Twitter. Without further delay, we have questions and answers, right? He's imaginary. He wears red. It's Clausburn back with us as we get ready for the Super Bowl. We'll get his prediction. We'll get his take on the fan bases. Claus, it's been too long since we rock and rolled. How you been?
Well, I'm doing okay. I do have to admit, I haven't been able to focus too much on the Super Bowl this week. I've been very busy sending copies of Nico Harrison's resume to Ryan Day, trying to get him hired as the player personnel director at Ohio State so that we can trade any random white quarterback for Jeremiah Smith. So if we can get that type of leadership at Ohio State, I think we might have a shot next year.
Claus, I love it. You got to be smiling, Claus. You got a dude named Rocco coming down from South Bend to play offensive line.
Well, we're going to get a good offensive lineman and somebody who can rough up all the people who owe me money. So I'm pretty psyched about that for sure.
Claus, let's get into it. Let's get the forecast music going. And Claus, I need to get your take. Philly fan. Fan of Philly fan or much disdain for Philly fan?
Well, I've always felt the best way to get rid of old, outdated furniture was to set it on fire in the middle of the street. So win or lose, they're going to handle a lot of great things for the sanitation department of Philadelphia.
Pretty good. How about Chiefs fan? Andy Reid's a classic and a class act. Chiefs barbecue, but any Chiefs fatigue clause?
Oh, absolutely not. As you know, I'm a big fan of dynasties with a quarterback that wears number 15 and wears red. And I'm really a big fan of Andy Reid. He always dresses for the occasion. and the occasion for him appears to always be a Jimmy Buffett concert. So I could see them in the Super Bowl every year, and I'd be fine.
So let's get down to it, Claus. Any prop bets you're liking?
None really that I've seen. I haven't paid too much attention. As I mentioned, I've been busy, but I am excited for Super Bowl licks brought to you by Subaru and Nail Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
So any of the prop bets you have, I'll be happy to chime in on any of them.
All right. Well, how about MVP? Are you going Mahomes or are you going Barkley?
Well, quite frankly, I think the MVP is probably going to be Taylor Swift. I don't know if you saw the picture of her at the Grammys, but those legs have more definition than a dictionary. And I think she's about the only person strong enough to stop Saquon. So I'm going to pick Miss Taylor for MVP.
Okay. How about the Chiefs defense? Can the Chiefs defense corral this Philly run game?
Well, only if they allow them to pass it for 9 yards on the first play and figure out how to make them only run it 1 yard at a time, which is their most successful run play per capita.
Claus, how about Cam Jurgens? I mean, the pride of Pickrell. Not that long ago was doing interviews as a 5-star, put some meat on his bones, went from tight end to center, has a mullet, and could ruin your favorite bouncer because he's just so physical. And he's filled in for a Hall of Famer and created his own thing. Nick Gates, former Husker, gruesome injury with the Giants. Love Nick Gates, pride of Las Vegas. Could get a ring as well. You got to feel good about two former Huskers finding their way to the big one.
Well, certainly we always root for our alumnus, but if the prop bet is whether I think Cam Jurgens is more likely to win a Super Bowl or hang out in my garage crushing Bush Light and listening to Creed, I will take the latter.
Claus. All right, we got to get our picks in. The line is now even. It is a pick 'em. It's 48.5, the over-under. I think it's an under. I think it's a Chiefs win, a drive by Mahomes, and a Butker kick for the win, 24-21. Stop me if you've heard that score before, but the Chiefs do it. They three-peat. Justice, what do you say?
I like the Eagles in this one. I like the run game. I like the physicality they put on it. And I like Nick Sirianni to prolong Philly fans' anger for another offseason. Give me the Eagles 28-21 in this one.
All right. Joseph's upset. He says, fly, Eagles, fly. Joseph, I am not good at picking, so I'm doing you a favor. Your Eagles will probably get it handled. Claus, what say you, Chiefs or Eagles?
Well, certainly the Eagles have a lot of talent on their team. Saquon Barkley, Brown, Hurts, and that pigmentally challenged cornerback, all very good players. But I think we're missing the fact that this is really a home game for Patrick Mahomes. Now, I know everybody thinks he's from the state of Texas, but if you think about it, Louisiana is really just one giant swamp, and that's where Kermit the Frog lives. So he's returning to his ancestral home. And I think that sort of homecoming and that sort of sense of belonging is really going to help him perform better. And the Chiefs win this ball game. I like your score, Christopher, but I can't do exactly the same. So I'll say 27 for the Chiefs and for the Eagles, 24.
27-24. I love it.
Claus, what are your thoughts on potentially Tom Brady running out and diving at Patrick Mahomes' knees to keep him from doing something he never did?
Well, first of all, I know you're a young guy, so you didn't watch a whole lot of Tom's career. But if that guy could run 40 yards in 20 seconds, I'd be shocked. So I really don't think there's much danger of him catching Patrick, although he runs like an ostrich who got his tail feathers lit on fire. So it might be closer than I think.
Claus, wings, beer, pizza. What are you doing as we say goodbye?
Well, if you saw me on television the other day, you know that probably all I really need is a nice tomato soup and one butterscotch hard candy. So that's probably all I'll need.
Claus, we love you. We'll holler again soon.
Okay.
There he is. He's imaginary. He wears red. It's Clausburn with us here. So we wind it down. Super Bowl weekend, Husker hoops, and all sorts of interesting things. Reminder, Sunday, live, 10:30, the Average Joe Sports Show pod. Be there for that as we'll rock and roll, 10:30 live on the YouTube channel. We'll say goodbye next.
Ordering takeout. I planned to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où? Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage des nouvelles langues. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
When you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
When Warhorse is your Valentine, the gifts are extra sweet. Oh, yeah. Win big with our $50,000 Progressive Rollover Cash drawings. Each week is bigger and sweeter with Progressive Cash prizes plus Rollover Cash. Earn entries every day on slots, table games, and horse racing bets. Then join us every Friday to walk away with your share of $50,000 in cash. Only at Warhorse Casino Lincoln, Highway 77 and West Denton Road. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-GET OVER. Listen Saturday mornings to Start Moving with Rich Rodenberg from Coldwell Banker NHS Real Estate. He'll have all the hints to guide you through the process of buying or selling a home smoothly. Start Moving every Saturday morning at 9:30 right here on KFOR.
You've got your very own handyman to help remodel your home.
Showers of savings this month. Step into our showers on display at Handyman. Dozens of showers are on sale this month. Don't miss the biggest shower sale of the year at Handyman.
Do you want to install a beautiful bay window, new patio doors, or replace your drafty, inefficient windows? Hi, it's Jill St. James, and I recommend Heartland of Nebraska Windows, a local family-owned business with excellent service and affordable prices. Stop by booth 1415 at the Home and Garden Show February 7th through the 9th and visit with Gary, Tracy, or Ethan and save 10% with their show discount. You can buy more expensive windows from a bigger company, but you can't buy better windows from a better company than Heartland of Nebraska Windows.
Liberty First Credit Union is here to help you save time and money. Get a consolidation loan and conveniently combine all of your loans into one, leaving you with one fixed payment and one low-rate loan. Join Liberty First Credit Union at any of the 4 Lincoln locations, Seward, Omaha, and La Vista. Start saving with Liberty First Credit Union.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
One final time on a Friday. Big thanks to Brian Christopherson. Major thanks to Bill Dolman, BC, Clausburn, Jacob Padilla. Big thanks to you, Justice, for a week. Back at it next week as we'll have all sorts of thoughts on the Super Bowl. It's quite interesting to negotiate what's happening later with the bunny. Do you want to go get drinks later? Is what I texted during the break.
Okay.
Might have to go hang out with Iowa Russ. Haven't seen that dude forever. Can't wait to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna hit the gym first.
Good idea.
And then away we go. She's like, well, I'm not fixed up. I'm like, well, is the correct response, you look great all the time? Is that what I text back here shortly? Do I
think
do
that's
I
the
suggest
sly response.
do I suggest get fixed up? Or do I just not respond?
I think
I'm testing and teasing you because at some point you'll be dealing with this.
I think the non-response is a bad idea.
Okay.
I think no response is a bad idea. I think you should send something. I think looking good all the time is a good response.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could play off of that a little bit. You could go,
I did not ask her what time her shift starts at the Cheetah Club tonight.
See,
it's a running joke.
See, the thing is, you could.
And she likes it.
Okay,
the joke.
You could.
Not the hours.
You could.
High heels
I'm
hurt her
sure
knees.
she doesn't like the hours. She's working late into the night. She's getting home. Honey, can you pour me a seltzer?
Bunny, center stage. Bunny. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
She's going to tire iron me. She's to be between you jumping in when I was down the hall and her breaking my jaw with a crowbar tonight. Be all you next week, man. The plan is coming together.
It's so Bill Dolman's master plan is coming together.
Yeah.
No, I think the good idea would be to tell the wife that she looks good all the time, and then try to figure out a time that you could leave the house that would give her enough time to get appropriately fixed up. I think that's the way to do that. Kind of negotiate your way into a leaving time.
I'll just say this. You look good all the time, sweetie. 8:30-ish.
Good idea.
All right. And away we go.
And try to negotiate that. That way she has the compliment, morale's high, and she's got a ballpark, and she's like, okay, if I want to get fixed up,
says
I can.
Says the troll texting her that hasn't shaved in a couple of days, wearing a stocking hat, coming from the gym. I'll have my own table. No one will want to sit by me.
Let's put the mask over your face. That's what they ought to do.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Kobe. I'll do better. Tuck is like, hey, are we prepping for Valentine's Day? Don't know. Might be. But we'll talk to you Monday at 4. Don't forget the Average Joe Sports Show, 10:30 live. Come find us there on YouTube. Like and subscribe there, of course. And we'll be back at you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your time. Have a great Super Bowl Sunday. Talk to you Monday.